Good morning everybody watching this video. Today we'll be talking about how water is affected by us humans. Now, first before we talk about that, let's know about water. Did you know that water is crucial for all life on Earth? It plays an essential role in health, economy, food production, and environment. Safe drinking water and fresh water are imperative for the development and public health. In fact, 21 of the 37 primary diseases that is common to all humans are caused by water sanitation, its lack of water, and the pollution inside it. Now, contrary to popular belief, water is a finite resource. It is not created. It is only recycled by the hydraulic cycle through the atmosphere, such as rain, storm, etc., etc. Now, did you know that a human can live up to 21 days without food? This was proven by Mahatma Gandhi, who fasted for 21 days exactly and reported against the rebellion in India. On the other hand, without water, a human will die in 3 days. Now, we know how important water is. Let us go to how humans affect the water itself.
Human activities that affect quality of water. Informal settlements. The constant rise in the number of people who live in the area around streams and other water resources has placed an increasing pressure on this scarce resource. Because they do not have access to treated water in many of the areas, people use the river for washing and bathing. Also, when latrines are placed on the banks of the river, human feces can contaminate the water. This gives rise to waterborne diseases such as cholera, gastroenteritis, hepatitis, dysentery, and typhoid. Mismanagement of agriculture. Water quality can be affected when farmers spray their crops with chemical pesticides and hormonal chemicals. These chemicals can seep into the groundwater and eventually flow into streams and rivers. Overgrazing occurs when too many animals are kept in the area, which is too small to sustain them. The animals eat all the plants, which means that there is no ground cover left to bind the soil. When heavy rain falls on the overgrazed land, the rich topsoil in which plants grow is washed away into the rivers. Domestic animals such as cows, goats, and sheep can also contaminate the water with their feces. Also, when animals are allowed to wade in water, they disturb the riverbed and water becomes dirty. Wetland destruction. Wetlands are the sponges of the river system and are found at intervals along the entire length of the river. They absorb and store large quantities of water after it has rained, and then slowly feed the groundwater and streams during drier times. By changing the course of rivers through the building of farm dams and channels, or by interfering with the ecology of wetlands, these important areas can dry up. This means fewer and fewer wetlands are left to act as natural filters and sponges for river water. Commercial forestry. Planting exotic trees in large numbers can be a drain on the water supplies in the area. Pine trees, for example, can each absorb up to 200 liters of water a day. Therefore, planting forests near wetlands and streams can result in the water flow being restricted and eventually drying up. Littering. Rubbish like plastic bags, bottles, papers, and tins, which are carelessly thrown on the ground in the city or in the country, can cause pollution of the rivers. Rubbish is blown by the wind into the rivers, or it is washed down storm water drains and into the rivers. Oils, chemicals, and medicine. Pouring oil from the motor cars or cooking oil into the drain causes serious problem in the rivers and at the water purification works. Chemicals, medicine, and oil should never be flushed down the toilet or poured down the sink or drain, as they contaminate the water and make it costlier to treat. These products should be taken to a depot which can dispose of them in the correct way. Industry. Some industries have been given permission to discharge their effluent into nearby streams. For example, Umegi Water first tests the effluent to ensure that it will not damage the environment. However, there are some industries which do not adhere to the standards set or which have not obtained permission to discharge into the river. Where necessary, those companies which pollute the rivers are prosecuted, but by then, it is usually too late and the damage to the water has already been done. Mining. If excavation occurs near streams, the excess sediments may wash into the streams during storm events. It also affects the pH level. Acidic water may form from a chemical reaction of surface water and shallow subsurface water containing rocks with sulfur-bearing minerals. This reaction produces sulfuric acid. Heavy metals may be leached from rocks that come in contact with the acid, resulting in fluids that may be highly toxic and have harmful impacts on human, wildlife, and plants. Pollution. Now, we learned that all Earth systems are connected. It is true in this case. The greenhouse effect caused by the pollution of the different gases such as carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbon or CFC into the atmosphere has been said to be the main reason for global warming. Because of global warming, polar ice caps in the Arctic region melt and result to a rapid rising of sea levels. A rise of sea levels should also create more precipitation, which could increase coastal areas' vulnerability to long-term flooding, hurricanes, and tsunamis. Extracting too much water. Groundwater is the largest source of usable fresh water in the world. In many parts of the world, especially where surface water supplies are not available, domestic, agricultural, and industrial water needs can only be met by using the water beneath the ground. Groundwater depletion is primarily caused by sustained groundwater pumping. Some of the negative effects of groundwater depletion are the lowering of the water table. This happens when excessive pumping can lower the groundwater table and cause wells to no longer be able to reach the groundwater. Increased cost. As the water table lowers, the water must be pumped farther to reach the surface, using more energy, and in extreme cases, using such a well can be cost prohibitive. Reduced surface water supplies. Groundwater and surface water are connected. When groundwater is overused, the lakes, streams, and rivers connected to groundwater can also have their supplies diminished. Land subsidence. The land subsidence occurs when there is a loss of support below the ground. This is most often caused by human activities, mainly from the overuse of groundwater when the soils collapse, compacts, and drops. Water quality concerns. Excessive pumping in coastal areas can cause salt water to move inland and upward, resulting in saltwater contamination of the water supply. Now, all of those are the effects of human activities to the water. A summary of this will be shown.